There is nothing wrong with your radio.
Do not attempt to adjust the volume.
We are controlling the broadcast.
For the next hour we will control all that you hear.
You are about to experience the knowledge and insights of the Media Mothership.
All right, welcome to the Media Mothership here on Edge Radio 99.3 FM. We're broadcasting out of the studios here in Nipaluna, Hobart, Tasmania. As always, we're a show that explores how media can shape our understanding of the world around us. We're streaming across edgeradio.org.au, YouTube and Twitch. And you can find us by just searching for Media Mothership. You can reach out to us during the show, if you'd like, by dropping us a message on the chat at YouTube or Twitch, or SMSing us directly into the studio on 048888 11707. I'm your host, Dr. Craig Norris. Today, it's a pleasure to be joined by, I guess you're the Right Honourable Nikita Riseley. You did honours?
I didn't do honours, no.
You finished third year? You completed?
No, I haven't actually. It's taken a bit of a while, but I've had a bit of a break away from UTAS and everything like that. So it's good to,
face the
have a bit of
life.
Had a bit of a break over like COVID as well. Like that was a bit of a
wise choice.
Yeah.
Well, I've brought you in, Nikita, to do some deep diving into video game culture, media, and in particular the Magic, which was the PAX experience over in Melbourne recently.
Yeah.
So we'll dig into some of that. I'll also touch a little bit on some news and information. So all that and more coming up on Media Mothership.
Troubled by the multiple narratives. Ever question the possibility of a stable meaning? Want to deconstruct it all? Edge Radio doesn't just offer you media, we offer you Media Mothership. Media Mothership, designed to expose you to the simulacra of today for 1 hour of playful irony. What are you waiting for? Hop on the Media Mothership.
So I just quickly wanted to go over one or two unusual bits of news that I've encountered trolling through the internet on media and popular culture. One interesting piece was from Gizmondo, and it was headlined, "Humans are more likely to slack off when working with robots, a study has found." So this is a finding which has raised safety concerns for workplaces that engage in dangerous and repetitive tasks, particularly if there's only kind of robot observation going on, that people will just kind of switch off and not pay as much attention. Have you found that? I mean, is there much AI you've experienced in any workplace, or where any technology is involved in the workplace to ensure that staff are kind of logging in, doing what they're meant to do, and then leave? Surveillance or anything?
There has been a few instances, yeah. So with my workplace, we basically have like a swipe on, swipe off system and everything like that. But like a lot of people usually seem to forget to do that as well.
And then how do you know them when they came or didn't come? The trust system, I guess.
Yeah, but so like they've got into this whole big thing now where like if you don't clock on, you don't get paid, basically. So that basically gets people to do that. But
so yes, you don't want to slack off, and so you want to make sure you're getting paid for the time you're there.
Yeah.
So yes, in that way, yes, AI systems or at least computerized systems can assist. Another really a slight change of gear. There was another really interesting article I was reading on Polygon talking about how the John Wick movies have always lived by video game rules. Right. So I love this idea of where media or computers or video games starts defining other parts of life. So the workplace, in this case, movies. And it's quite interesting. Have you seen the John Wick movies, Nikita?
I think I've seen the first one a very
Keanu
long time ago.
Reeves,
Yeah,
lot of gun.
I know what it is, but I haven't actually deep dived into it. Like I've only just like saw the first one, and that was probably a while ago.
Because it's one of those
Yeah.
enormous franchises. What's really fascinating about the John Wick space is how, of course, successful it's been.
Yeah,
But also, if you start unpacking the action and the narrative drive and the type of suspension of belief an audience has to have for a character to survive so many gunshots around them, and there's ideas that his suit is bulletproof and so forth, but nevertheless he does kind of have so much damage. So this article was talking about really the John Wick works, particularly for video gamers, because their suspension of disbelief is much easier to maintain because it's playing by video game rules, particularly the final boss video game rule that, your encounters slowly lead up to the final boss, which is very much how John Wick works. It points out some other interesting examples of this, particularly that kind of grinding, like you're in a video game and you just grind through levels, or you have to grind a part of a game to basically get
all like the wave modes and everything like that, and like just follow the enemies.
Yes, yeah,
which is basically tells you which way to go.
And you need that kind of character. You want to make that character stronger, so you just kind of grind some lower level stuff so it can be strong enough.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the that Tom Cruise movie Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Where Tom Cruise's character is kind of stuck in this time loop, constantly regrinding the boss encounter, right? Until he can perfectly achieve it, which is probably why, again, many people enjoyed that movie. Again, video game logic. So yeah, they were pointing out how the John Wick film, and increasingly, I'm curious as to whether other films and TV shows are working, because how we define suspension of disbelief can be in conversation with different realities. I mean, I think you've got suspension of disbelief as it applies to the real world, right? Like someone saying, they just can't believe, for instance, a one I remember is the Prometheus movie.
Yeah.
Where people said, so this is part of the Alien universe, and in the first, kind of the newest, I guess, that trilogy that Ridley Scott did, the first one had a group of scientists and support staff go to this planet, and everyone was so angry at the scientists not behaving like scientists, right? Like they were taking their helmets off, they were exposing themselves to various risks, and they were just saying they were behaving stupidly, right? That kind of suspension of disbelief quickly evaporated. Yet, it's interesting, because I think the same criticism could be made to John Wick, that it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't hold up to real-world logic.
Yeah.
But it's so successful. And I would say that success is because the suspension of disbelief is based on video game reality.
Yeah.
Right? And you've got an audience that is more than happy to go along and enjoy the kind of pacing of a video game in terms of a character arc, particularly that final boss idea, the kind of power-ups that John Wick encounters. It's a really interesting concept.
It reminds me of like the Transformers movies, where everybody was saying like, I can't remember the actress's name in like the third one or something like that. It wasn't. I can't even think of the name now. But anyway, she was like wearing all white clothes and everything like that, and she was basically running through the apocalypse. And how did she stay so clean?
Yes, yeah, that's right. That the makeup is unblemished.
Yeah.
They're in an apocalypse scenario, but because they're still conforming to some conventions of, I guess maybe audience appeal. The Transformers genre is another one, or movies are another case where, again, critically they were savaged, but for the audience rating was huge, right? There was a huge popularity for those. And again, that kind of trying to explain that divide between where a critical reaction kind of misses why a piece of work is popular. I mean, we might criticize Transformers for various things, but nevertheless, it did become incredibly successful. A lot of people watched it. A lot of people enjoyed it. And again, why is that? Again, you could argue maybe video game rules. I mean, Transformers probably plays by video game rules. We'll have to... There you go. There's a challenge for us.
I haven't even thought about that,
Well, Nikita, we're going to bring you on. We'll give ourselves a month to watch all the Transformers movies. We'll set up a research project. We'll get a research coding list together based on video game rules, and we'll apply that to the Transformers movie. I'm already regretting this challenge.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. I guess typically on a show, this is where they'd set it up as a kind of a fundraiser, right? Yes, if you can, subscriber thing, right? If we can get to 200 subscribers by next week, we will embark on a 1 month Transformers video game rules project. There you go. I think that's how that works.
Yeah.
Please,
Pretty
no one.
much.
Yeah, don't hold me to that one there. All right. So that, again, 2 really interesting bits of news. I'll post those bits to the show notes on the podcast and YouTube so people can go and dig into that when they want. We might just shift to getting ready now to come back and talk about PAX with Nikita any second.
Are you defined by the binary oppositions? Ever doubt a life of stable meaning? Want to trace it all? Edge Radio doesn't just offer you media. We offer you Media Mothership. Media Mothership, designed to reveal the aporias of today for 1 hour of difference. What are you waiting for? Hop on the Media Mothership.
Hey, you're listening to Media Mothership here on Edge Radio 99.3, and I'm joined by Nikita, who's going to assist me, because I've never been to PAX, in unpacking this PAX space. So what is PAX?
PAX is basically just one giant convention that involves video games, pretty much, if that's in basic terms. So PAX started in America. I think it was Seattle? Yeah. But yeah. So all of the big execs from there fly in every year in Australia. This year was actually the 10th year.
Right,
so
10
it
years.
had the 10-year anniversary in Australia.
And it took a break during COVID?
Yeah, it did. I think it was about 2, maybe 3 years before they got back up and running again over COVID. But yeah, it's quite fun. They have a lot of the major video game publishers and console developers and everything like that. They've also got a lot of smaller indie devs that come in.
Ooh, was there any Tassie stuff?
Yeah, there was. Usually Tasmania has a separate little sort of booth thing, and you can go there and play their games. Normally, it's a Giant Margarita is there with
great.
party golf and everything like that, and there was a few other smaller ones. And then there was also New Zealand had a booth as well.
Go to New Zealand?
Yeah.
Right. Is that the first time New Zealand's...
I don't think so. I think they were there the year before. This is only my second year that I went, but I'm pretty sure they were there the year before that as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so what were some of the highlights this year for PAX 2023? It was held in Melbourne,
Yep.
so I imagine the flight was a huge highlight.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
You got there? No delays?
There was no delays on the trip there. On the way back was
my.
another story, but the year before I had delays too, so yeah. But yeah, flight was probably not one of the highlights, but
Because how long did you like? It goes for the weekend.
It does. So it goes. You can buy a number of different tickets. I had a 3-day pass, but that sold out within probably 2 months, I'd say.
Right.
So that sold out relatively fast. And then you can just buy separate day passes as well.
So you went for the 3 days.
I went for the 3 days. Yeah. Normally, I would probably get like a media pass or something like that. So they've got those too for like streamers and like there's guests as well and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was nice just to go there and have a bit of a relaxing time and walk around rather than do working.
Had you taken the media pass previously? Or?
I haven't for PAX, no. Other conventions I have. So like our local Icon that we had.
Yes.
I did media passes there, and I've done Falls Festival and everything like that.
And this is overlapping with the work you've got for your Twitch channel, or?
So that was when I was working at Tegatus in my first and second year of uni.
Oh, great! Yes,
Yeah.
the local
Yeah.
uni
Yeah.
journalistic publication.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. But yeah, I haven't started streaming yet on Twitch, but I will be probably in the near future, I reckon.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have to make a special launch announcement.
Yeah.
When that happens.
Yeah.
Right. So you've been able to see behind the scenes on some conventions in the past through Tegatus and getting media pass access, but for PAX, did you have to do a little bit of homework to figure out what games were going to be there, developers, personalities that you wanted to corner?
So I mainly went for the community side of things, but there was also major developers that came back to Australia this year. So they, well, not really developers, but they had Nintendo and Bethesda there with the new. Well, Nintendo had like the new, what was it, the Mario game, Mario Wonder.
Oh, right.
And there was also Sega in there as well with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the. I did see the giant. Was it a Lego Sonic?
Yeah, it was a giant Lego Sonic. So
And as soon as I saw that, I
I
thought,
took a photo with that. It was great. It was great.
because my immediate reaction when I see giant Lego things is, oh, I'm looking forward to the YouTube of that getting knocked over by a young kid.
Yeah.
Kind of moment,
I
because there's
think-
been these cases of that happening.
I think
what happened with
somebody said like the actual maker or something on Twitter or X or whatever it's called nowadays. He's like, don't push it over or something like that, and I think people were just like mocking that as well in
So-
a few pictures that I've seen.
But you got a photo up with it. You got to stand next to the Sonic
Yeah,
Lego
that was
piece.
basically the highlight. No,
'Cause it's kind of like life size, right? It's huge.
It wasn't that big. For me, it was probably. I'm quite short, so it was probably about. Yeah, basically half the size.
So probably life size for a 6-year-old.
Yeah, basically. I have about 164 centimeters or something, so about half that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you said you were connecting with the community there, or?
Yeah. So I'm also a Patreon subscriber for a Twitch channel called BackPocket.
Yeah, and they're a really interesting group, right?
Yeah.
So this is the kind of elements of previous Australian video game shows, specifically Good Game, which used
Yeah.
to be on ABC.
Yeah.
And then what happened? They reformed. They kind of.
So Barjo from Good Game, people might remember him. He's a bit of a character. He left Good Game first. I can't remember what year it was, but it was quite a while ago now. And he ended up doing his own Twitch channel, which is quite popular. And then I think Hex was the next one, or Steph is her real name. She was the next one to leave, and basically everybody else just sort of followed after that, I think. And anyway, they got back together again, and they created their own channel called BackPocket, which is the community that I Patreon to. And yeah,
And it's such an interesting model of creating content with Twitch and Patreon. So within, so obviously they do a regular Twitch streams of various video games.
Yep.
They play, and you engage with them as part of the audience, but also the fandom
Yeah.
of those identities.
Yeah.
And then Patreon is, of course, a space many people know, but for those that don't know, it's a kind of way of financially supporting creatives, where there's various tiers or levels of engagement. How have you found your participation in you're part of the BackPocket army? Is that what they're
I
called?
think the technical term is pocketeers.
Pocketeers.
BackPocketeers. So they took that name from another online group that they engaged with as like it was basically the ABC's good game version for it's hard to explain. So this is basically the YouTube side of Good Game.
Yep.
So they called it Good Game Pocket back then. So they took the name Pocket from there.
Right.
So it was like Bring Back Pocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cute. Yeah, bring back. So
Yeah.
it's also kind of a political phrase.
Yeah.
Right? Bring back Pocket, Pocketeers, Pocket being a kind of offshoot of Good Game.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Because it's such a difficult thing to untangle yourself, I imagine,
Yeah.
for those creatives in terms of you were part of a proprietary, thing at ABC and then trying to extricate yourself but do the same thing elsewhere, like on Twitch, and make it sustainable for you.
And keep that sort of audience as well. So it's like merging two and two together, if that makes sense. Yeah.
But again, the great thing about Twitch is keeping it grassroots. And this does give me an idea. I need to think of what to refer to Media Mothership fans when we find them. I guess I can't really do the Pocketeers thing. Media Mothership ears doesn't shippers. No, that's a phrase for people that are doing fan fiction.
When I think of Mothership, I think of UFOs. So like you could probably do something with like
aliens,
maybe.
Yeah.
But like,
because Kiss had like the Kiss Army. I was doing this podcast this show yesterday with a huge Kiss fan, and he was talking about joining the Kiss Army in the 80s. But yes, I think doing that kind of X-Files, Alien, Mothership angle. All right, well, we'll keep workshopping something.
Yeah.
So you're a Pocketeer.
Yep.
Excellent. And so you got to engage like the hype, like leading up to PAX for the BackPocket space and community. That became a center of let's do a face-to-face meetup.
Yeah.
And catch up. How did that all pan out?
So with the Patreon subscription, you also get access to the Discord. There's different tiers of
there's so much that
different
I'm
ones that
learning
you, like different channels on the Discord that you can have access to. But there's like multiple different ones. So there's like PAX chat, and you can just talk to other like-minded people in the community. And plan out basically everything. The creators of the show also did a meetup on Saturday, I think it was.
And again,
before their actual panel.
Exclusive for Patreon supporters?
Not really. I think basically everybody was invited, pretty much. But most of them were just Pocketeers mainly.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great.
And what was it? I mean, I know in media studies, so I guess full disclosure, Nikita has been a previous life as a wonderful student in some of the classes I taught at university.
Oh.
And one of the concepts we looked at was the parasocial, the concept of the parasocial moment where you meet celebrity or you've developed that relationship. Many celebrities, many media creators will have Instagram, social media outreaches, Twitch, and you develop a kind of friendship that benefits both sides. But then sometimes you meet people in the real life, and of course the warning being never meet your heroes. How have you found that parasocial relationship that the Pocketeer and BackPocket spaces have?
It's actually really interesting. Like, it's still really like fun, but like it's yeah, it's just weird because like you engage in like this children's show from like your childhood basically, and then you get older and sort of like you meet them at like conventions and things like that, which is when they're working for like ABC still, is this like really I can't think of the word for it, but like you don't like you don't really feel like you can express your full self if you're working for a certain company or something like that, and you go and meet people, you still feel like you're attached to that sort of yeah, you know what I mean.
Yes, that kind of media space.
Yeah.
So it can be fascinating when you're allowed entry into what typically is kind of industry knowledge or industry engagements through being able to join a Discord community, chatting online, and then being able to meet face-to-face on PAX.
Yeah.
Right? So again, it's very rare that there are face-to-face meetups like this. So you'd caught up on PAX with many other Pocketeers?
Yeah, it was great fun. Like I'd met a few in years before, but a couple of them I haven't. And yeah, it's just really nice to put faces to names and things like that. So everybody just addresses themselves as like a username and stuff that they see on Twitch all the time, like in the chat and everything like that. Yeah, and yeah,
because it can be very
good. Yeah,
and it can be intimidating going to a space. Did you go with friends, or you went by yourself and then met and then organized to meet up with your friends?
I went with my brother. He's not really part of that community. Well, he is a little bit, but like not as much. He's not fully into it as much as I am. But I also met up with a few friends that I've talked to over the Discord and everything like that, and met in years prior. And then, yeah, it's just like we had a bunch of name tags this year. So one of the mods of the channel gave us all name tags.
Right.
So like we could just write our names or usernames on them as well. So everybody could basically identify others.
As you were sporting around the convention floor,
Yeah.
you were each...
So it's basically a conversation starter as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And there were distinctive little name tags.
Yeah, it was great.
Did anyone outside of that culture ask what was going on with the name tags?
Not me personally, but I'm pretty sure they probably did. I don't...
It's a
they were
great
quite
idea.
big. Yeah, they were quite big. Like, they were just like... probably the size of like a normal, like... You know those kids'
Wow.
birthday badges that you can get?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. Can I ask, if it's not an invasion of privacy, what your username was for this, for the BackPockets?
Mine is NJ Games, so it's basically just my initials spelled out long form. So it's ENNJAY.
Right.
Games, yeah.
Perfect. All right, so there you are at PAX, connecting with the community, and so there were the personalities there, like the BackPocket team. Did they do anything formally for PAX?
Yeah, they did.
there?
They did a panel which was in the main theatre. Ran for about an hour and a half. It was just basically a live stream, or like a live show of what they usually do on their channels every Thursday. So their variety show that they have on Thursday nights. Yeah.
So was it a video game chat discussion unpack?
Basically, yeah. So they talk about the games that they've been playing that week, and then they go on to more random, like, fun topics for everybody else to participate in. So they played Everybody 1-2 Switch.
What is that? Everybody 1-2 switch.
That is a...
I hope it's a body swatching thing, like you just change identities. No.
It probably could be, but I haven't played it like fully myself. But so it's a Nintendo Switch game,
Right.
where you can get multiple people involved. This version of it, you can use phones to play it
Yes.
instead of
'cause
Joy-Cons.
probably-
And it's just a bunch of random like little games. So there's basically a game on there that's like kind of like Squid Game, you know, the red light, green light
Right.
game.
Yep.
Except obviously you don't get shot like in Squid Game. But yeah, that was quite fun. They found out that you can only have 100 people participate in it, though.
Right, so there
until
were...
the servers crash.
No kidding. So there were more than 100 people engaging during PAX for that panel.
Yeah. I'm not sure the capacity of that theatre, but it's probably, I don't know, between...
That's a substantial audience.
Yeah, probably more than 300, I'd say.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, touching base with what you, the community you're part of, did you also then discover some new stuff, new games, new genres to enjoy in the future?
I didn't play many games because of like all of the lines and everything at PAX. I didn't want to waste a lot of my time standing for hours on end.
Really? So for the popular
titles like the Mario game and like all of those were pretty much...
How does it work? So there's consoles they've set up and you line up and you can play like 3 minutes or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
On something.
Yeah.
Right.
I basically got the whole experiences by looking over other people's shoulders. But it looked really good.
Anything you saw that you thought, I'm going to keep an eye on that? That looks fantastic.
There was a few. Like, it was basically, yeah, pretty much the Mario game. I liked that one. There was the new Forza. That was there. What else was there? A lot of these games have already just been released, I think.
And Bethesda had a small suite. Were they announcing or releasing anything? Or
Bethesda had a small suite, but I didn't really get to see what they had. They were at the other side of the hall, I think.
Wow. So you had a 3-day pass, but even with that, you know, you can't do everything, and you can't wait in line and...
But pretty much, yeah. Even the line for merch on the first 2 days, I know of people that were standing in line for about 3 hours just to buy PAX merch.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just going to wait till like Sunday.
Holy cow.
But by the time Sunday comes, everything's sold out. So like it's, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so it sounds like you were trying to maximize your time there.
Yeah.
Avoiding the long queues. What did you do then to best enjoy efficiently PAX?
Basically just hung out with friends mainly.
What a very social thing to do.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I did a lot of walking around. That's for sure. They had like the tabletops games there as well, so they got a separate section for tabletop.
Like your classic board games.
Yes. So they had like Dungeons and Dragons and like Magic and everything like that set up there. They had a whole heap of different ones. But yeah, I didn't get to play any of those either. Probably because I don't really know how to play them.
Yes, that's right, yes. Part of the learning curve.
Yeah. It's a bit intimidating.
So one of the challenges in PAX, as you're pointing out, is handling the crowd. Was the crowd bigger or larger or smaller than last year, the previous time you'd gone?
It's hard to say. I think it was roughly around the same. Maybe a little bit bigger. There's a lot of times that you kind of don't really want to be in the exhibition hall, though, especially like for long periods of time, just because it's very, very humid.
Yes,
right. A lot of my time was spent outside to breathe, basically, with all of that tech and everything, and just like crowds, and yeah, it's very overwhelming.
Of course. And given through Tagadas you've been to various other pop culture events in locally.
Yeah.
How does PAX 2023 compare to that? Is it kind of one of the biggest events?
I'd say it's probably one of the biggest events in Australia. That's based around that sort of industry and everything like that. Icon that I went to in Hobart, it's mainly based around like anime and stuff like that, rather than they've got like a small video game area, but it's not particularly that big. The size of the convention hall in Melbourne it's a bit of a difference, that's for sure. I think I was doing about between 15 to 20,000 steps a day.
It's great exercise. So
Yeah.
it is a healthy way to look at a pursuit many people would consider as being one where you're just sitting in front of a monitor playing games. The reality being actually the opposite, that you get an excellent workout.
That's for sure, yes.
Fantastic. So any advice or suggestions for people that might be thinking this time next year going to PAX? What would your advice be?
Probably become like part of a community or something like that. It's definitely more fun to go with friends or something like that. It's a bit overwhelming at times, but yeah, just prepare yourself for like all of that sort of thing, and just basically waiting a lot.
Yeah, so bring something to distract yourself with.
Yeah, like pack your Nintendo Switch or something like that. Because you'll be standing there for a while. It's a lot of standing.
Well, actually, while you mentioned that, what devices did you see people have on hand as they were walking around? Was it mainly just a classic mobile phone, or were there quite a few handheld game?
It's mainly I just basically saw a lot of people with mobile phones. There was a few streamers there that walk around with cameras, with selfie sticks and everything like that. So you'll probably be on like a live stream somewhere on the internet. Half of these people, I have no idea who they were, so I was just like walking past.
That would be an unusual thing to see someone with a selfie stick doing they'd be doing a live video
They're
stream,
probably doing like a
record
IRL stream, like in real life
right
stream, which is basically a whole different genre on Twitch.
Yeah, so so the in real life genre is one which is just slices of live recordings anywhere.
So people go fishing, people go walking, shopping, basically anything really.
And I imagine I have come across some where it just seems to be set a camera on the side and they're just doing life, right? They're fishing, or they're not really doing shout outs or looking for engagement. It's just like watching a fish tank.
Pretty much, yeah. Sometimes they'll just look at their chat or something like that and they'll talk to people, but yeah, that's basically what it is.
All right, so that's the deep dive into PAX. Now I'll play a short clip to set up the next discussion of video game analysis and engagement. Keep listening here to Media Mothership and Edge Radio.
Welcome to San Andreas, I'm CJ from Grove Street. Land of the heinous, gangbangers in cold heat. In Los Santos, neighbors get no sleep. Beefing with anybody, competing, even police. Fold deep in the green rag with gold feet. Blast with the flag on the strap, that's OG. Stay in shape, hit the gym, lift the weights. Get super cutter, big and buff, nice and straight. You got stats, respect, weapon, skill. Stamina, muscle, fat, and sex appeal. You get clothes from Binkos and Prolapse. Suburban zip, victim and desatch. Watch your back when in rival hoods. They'll test just to guess if your survival's good. Ducking shells at the Clucking Bell. Jump out, busting, gun until they tuck their tail. It seemed like I'm on impossible missions. Twisted predicaments, hostile positions. Tenpenny and Pulaski harass me. Cop cars been on our ass the past week. Cause the Dre is for the gangsters, homeboy. Hands is the language for the bangers, homeboy. And it's dangerous, homeboy. Get your brains blue for how you do your fingers, homeboy. Heat cock, we poppin' hot ones. Dump them out, bend the block. Shake before the cops come. Listen for sirens, they don't got none. Back another lap, catch a straggler with the shotgun. Hitting them up with that Grove Street lock and a dirty slingshot. No Levi.
All right, welcome back here to Media Mothership on Edge Radio 99.3. I'm your host, Craig, joined by guest Nikita. Hey.
Hi.
And co-host Taylor.
Yeah, hi, I'm finally here.
Finally here. So Nikita was taking us on a journey into PAX, and now I want to flip the script. Sounds so cool when I say that live. Flip the script. I should have sound effects to really sizzle my repartee. Okay, let's just push through now. Anyway, flip the script by then talking about engaging with video games and the weird ways people engage with video games. This is one of my favorite topics because when I had to teach... Were you in the video game unit that I taught?
I think it was, yeah. Yeah, I was.
Were you in it?
That was a very long time ago, but yeah.
I mean, it was memorable.
I failed it, yeah, if I remember
I don't
correctly.
think either of you submitted your final assignments.
I don't think I did.
Yes,
So you're not alone.
I've brought in your final assignments. We're doing a live assessment. No. One of the final assessment that I did for that unit was you have to get a video game and create an engagement with it, which is not how the creators of the game would have intended. So I know one student did the Sim game, and he got a mod. No, not Sim. It was one of those kind of city builder games.
Mm-hmm.
Got a mod which was Hobart, and then tested out all of the theories of reducing traffic. Right, so a ring road around Hobart.
That would have
tunnel.
actually been really cool.
That would have
Yeah,
been
I like-
genius.
Yeah.
It was based on this DayZ Reddit post, which I'd read, where a guy posted on DayZ to say that he wanted to do he was looking for someone to create a UN journalism skin for him to wear in-game so he could interview people in the game as a journalist character for a blog he's doing. Which is, that's great, man. That's the future of journalism. Going in-game, in character, doing interviews. And DayZ,
Of
for those
sweaty teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but DayZ was because he was wanting to explore how this zombie game was getting emergent gameplay happening with survivors and, kind of like the worst thing about zombies are the other humans, so humans killing humans. Yeah, and I love that idea. So, yes, my hope was to get students creating this kind of new journalism thing. That didn't quite happen. But nevertheless, I always get an opportunity to return to weird ways people use video games. All right, so I'm just going to throw out to you guys some of the things we've heard. So I played GTA because one of the common ways in which people play games differently are those people that play GTA according to the rules of the road. Have you ever done this? Have you?
I have.
Yeah, what was that like?
It's alright, I guess, but like you get sick of it after a while. When you're like, oh, there's a person over there. Run them off the road.
My 17-year-old is going to learn driving, and let's do it in GTA.
The thing is, I do that as well. So I use the rules of the road, but it's very difficult because they drive on the right-hand side.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe for planning a trip to America, GTA is a really good way of familiarizing yourself with...
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
American road rules, yeah.
You need to... I mean, the later GTA games, they do allow you to do first person, right? So you can get... all right, so other bizarre ways gamers have used video games according to new and unusual rules are... in The Sims, some players decided to create a challenge called the Black Widow Challenge. You haven't heard of this one? Okay, Black Widow Challenge. So have you guys played The Sims?
Yeah.
What is The Sims? I've never played it. I know it,
It's
but I'm going to ask this
basically
question so audience...
Just a simulator of life, pretty much.
Yep.
You can create your own characters.
From
and
birth
everything
to
like
death
that.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
In sort of a weird, perverse way, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the Black Widow Challenge, the goal is to create a female sim who marries as many male sims as possible and then kills them off in various ways. The challenge has different rules and objectives depending on the version of the game, but the main idea is to collect money and graves from the deceased husbands. Black Widow, would that work? Black Widow Challenge? Could you create a female sim and then get it so that she's in-game killing her husbands to siphon off their money? Would you be able to set that up?
I mean, you probably couldn't get the character to kill the person, but
You would
The
create...
person that plays the game could definitely kill off the husband.
I don't feel comfortable about this. All right, so have you heard of any other bizarre things about The Sims? Right, I know there's ones like you give a phobia to a character or something, and then you get them to experience that phobia again and again and again, right?
Make them afraid of water, and then just build pools all around them. Yeah,
That's right.
Take away the ladder from the swimming pool.
Yes, so sadistic. Have you done any sadistic things in The Sims, or someone you know has done sadistic things?
Yeah, I think we've all basically done that.
Top 5.
Well, I hope we
things?
have anyway. Otherwise, I'm just like some psychopathic.
I think everyone's done the Black Widow sort of
thing.
esque sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you're not going to provide any more details than that to me?
Well, I built a big property and then made a basement and made all these little rooms with a bed and a microwave and a toilet in it.
Door.
And then just put them all in there and take away the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what happens to them?
I mean, they eventually starve to death. If they don't have a fridge in there, so they can't make food.
Would they start eating each other or something? Or?
No.
No, okay, so cannibalism's out. Okay. Sorry, I don't know why I said sad. All right, so Pokemon. Some players decided to follow a set of rules called the Nuzlocke Challenge. Okay, you know this one, Taylor. Okay, so the rules are meant to make the game more difficult and emotional by forcing the player to release any Pokemon that faints in battle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Death is permanent, basically.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
And they can only catch the first Pokemon encountered in each area. The challenge also encourages the player to nickname their Pokemon and form a bond with them. What is the Nuzlocke Challenge? Anything further than that?
You just explained it, so what do you think to me
Okay,
for?
so, all right. So, okay, in Pokemon,
Yeah.
you get Pokemon and then you fight with them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So where this is different though is that usually you can choose which Pokemon you want, right? You wouldn't take the first one.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
So that introduces a challenge. And death's permanent. So if
it faints, it's gone.
Right. Have you done the Nuzlocke challenge?
No.
I'm completely new to this altogether, so
so-
I have no idea what... I mean, I know what Pokemon is and everything like that. I played that, but I don't know what this challenge is.
Because I guess the emotional link is there because you're more likely to have your Pokemon die in those circumstances.
Yeah, I suppose,
right?
yeah. It's trying to get you to use potions so they don't faint.
Right, because normally Pokemon can be a victim of that kind of collect them all kind of thing,
yeah.
and yep. Well, I think there's fundraising material here, right? We could set up. If we can get to, like,
Set
I'm
up
at
the
30
Patreon.
subscribers, so if we can get to 300, right? 100 times, we'll do a live Nuzlocke challenge.
Sounds so boring. I mean, come on.
Grand Theft Auto we've done. Animal Crossing, right? I haven't read this one, actually. I sent it to Nikita. Do you know Animal Crossing?
Yeah, I played it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go. Someone that's played it. So in Animal Crossing New Horizons, some players decided to create a horror-themed island, right? They used custom-designed furniture and items to decorate their island with spooky elements such as blood, bones, graves, and ghosts. They also invited other players to visit the island and experience horror for themselves. How does that make you feel?
That's not really
A
like a challenge. Or playing the games is not to be intended. It's just like, you know.
It's a kid game and you turn it into a horror thing?
I know, but that's just like using what's in the game elements already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should vet these
Is that-
first.
I mean, what's that raccoon or whatever his name is? I can't think of his name, but he just constantly asks for money all the time. So it's kind of like a horror in itself because you have to actually pay off a mortgage.
That's a sinking feeling.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption Online, some players decided to take the redemption part of the game too seriously and formed a group called the Red Dead Redemptionists. They dressed in white robes and masks and went around preaching, healing, and baptizing other players. They also tried to avoid violence and follow a strict code of conduct.
I mean, people have got too much time, don't they?
Well, this reminds me of the story of the dad that set his son who wanted to play Call of Duty, one of the Call of Duty games, and his son was like 14.
If you want to play this game, you have to fight in a real war, and then you can play it.
It was, let's read the Geneva Convention first, and then play the game according to Geneva Convention rules. And so they sat down and they tried to see how far they could get through the game playing the Geneva Convention. Yeah, that'd be fun. No Man's Sky, so that's an open world alien planet discovery game. There's a player called Darth Maul who claimed to have discovered a massive alien invasion in the game. He posted screenshots and videos of his encounters with giant creatures, spaceships, and bases, and he also invited other players to join him fighting these invaders. However, it turned out he was using mods and editing tools to create the illusion of an invasion, and he was actually trolling the entire community. One person's conspiracy theory.
That reminds me of the fellow that's in the Elden Ring, which is the online sort of component of that game. And there's like the really, really difficult boss. And he'll just go and, if anyone's looking for players, he'll go in and basically solo it.
Right, yeah. He's this kind of like, you know, in TV you had that Kung Fu movie, or even Highway to Heaven, right? So this is this benevolent Uber Chad gamer who will come in and help 12-year-old who's been crying about not finishing this level, like Dark Souls or something. Yeah, Uber Chad. In Call of Duty Modern Warfare, some players got bored of the fast-paced and chaotic gameplay and decided to slow things down. They created custom matches with low gravity, reduced speed, and increased health. They also used vehicles like trucks, helicopters, and tanks to create makeshift roadblocks and convoys. The result was a slow-motion version of Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah, slow it down. Valheim? Any Valheim players here?
I haven't played it, but I know of it.
Okay,
I know a few people that just like do like the whole, what is it, like cottagecore type thing, where it's like they decorate everything.
Oh wow!
I know people that have spent hours doing that.
Wow.
But yeah,
because it goes on to say that some players decided to spice things up by creating a battle royale mode. So I guess there's no battle royale in Valheim, and they used mods and commands to spawn hundreds of enemies, weapons, and items in a large arena. And then they set up objectives. So, yeah, it sounds like, you take a PvE game and turn it into PvP.
Yeah.
Last example, in Hades, a roguelike game where the player tries to escape from the underworld. You guys played Hades?
I haven't played it, no. I know, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Like, I know of it, yeah.
So some players decided to take a different approach. Instead of rushing through the levels and fighting enemies, they chose to explore the environment and interact with the characters. They also use mods and cheats to disable combat and unlock all the dialogue options. They enjoyed the story, lore, and art of the game more than the action. So that's a fascinating idea. You just switch off all the combat and you get a mod that disables all fighting, and you just spend the whole game in dialogue with the NPC characters and just checking out the scenery. Wow. Wow, so it's kind of like a sim.
I mean, if it's a pretty game, then it's probably a good way to do it, but like...
All right, well, look, I reckon there's some great fundraising challenges there to set the game called Media Mothership that I can get set up.
So what would Media Mothership be about?
Well, I like the idea of saying it's like a combat game, and then it's more interesting turning all the combat off.
Okay, yeah.
And doing it as a dialogue game. So it could be, I don't know, it could be like one of those games where you're just stuck with dialogue wheels.
In conversation with you.
Yeah.
And it's like hell.
Like, and you got 3 choices. Yeah. And it's just this really recursive loop. In fact,
it becomes like Walking Dead or something like that. Like the Walking Dead games, like Telltale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that old school.
Yeah.
One funny story was about that. People were pointing out there's one, not Skyrim, but one of the ones before Skyrim.
Oblivion?
It could be. Yeah. They found that they rushed through the audio dialogue for that game, and there were moments where, you get an NPC, there's an audio dialogue encounter, and the guy's saying it, and then he says, "Oh, hold on, let me do that again," and then he reads it again. And what they've done is they've actually dumped the practice versions into the game. Next time we might play that. Well, look, that's been Media Mothership for another week. We're at 4:57, leaving mere minutes away to get to the next show after Media Mothership, which is K-Pop Unlimited.
Yeah.
Taylor, you are part of K-Pop Unlimited.
So are you.
I know. We won't talk about the percentage of those parts. What's up for K-Pop Unlimited this week? Are we playing the same songs as last week?
Yeah, mainly because
That's
I've had
great.
no time whatsoever. I've been finishing university stuff. So.
My challenge for you for fundraising is see if we can play the same song constantly. Like we just play one song 8 times. And we see if we can still do K-Pop Unlimited next week.
No, I'll be kicked off.
Well, actually, saying that, Media Mothership and K-Pop Unlimited will be on a break next week because there's a live cross to a school to do their live thing. Mm-hmm. So you will be hearing Tasmanian school children in this hour.
I think
week.
I'm going to that anyway, so I'll probably be still on the air.
Great, yeah. So we can do a type of Media Mothership on location. So yeah, hopefully people recognize the difference. They don't just think, gee, Media Mothership sounds better. It's really great today. Glad they replaced those guys. No. All right, well, look, thanks very much for listening. You can get a hold of previous shows on YouTube and Twitch and listen on demand on edgeradio.org.au. Hey, Nikita, if people want to find out more about you, should they? I mean, sorry. You're going to set up like a streaming thing
relatively soon. But yeah, you can follow me on what is it, NJ Games. I always forgot my own name. So ENNJAY Games.
So if anyone's hanging out in the BackPocket group or wants to join BackPocket, they can drop your name.
I promoted this on the Discord as well. So
Sweet. Groovy. So keep listening to Edge Radio. Coming up next is K-Pop Unlimited.
Maybe.
I'm
just trying to get the music ready.
And we might be playing more than one song, but it might be one song continually. All right. So hold on. I got the system playing again. So keep listening here to Edge Radio 99.3 FM.
You're listening to Edge Radio